how are you? Either good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where it is that you're tuning in from. Please let me know down below. The group has really grown over the last week, and I'm super excited for that. I'm loving everyone contributing, throughout the week, and yeah, it's been really good. One of the things that I wanted to jump on and share with you guys is something that I have been sharing with my clients now for probably close on 2 years. And while it's a small and simple little hack or a trick or a tip, whichever way you want to look at it, it's certainly made a massive difference, not only in my own life, but very much in the life of my clients. And I've got clients that have gone on to run their own programs and things along those lines, and they're starting to teach their clients as well. So guys, as you're jumping on, make sure you're saying hi. I can see you jumping on there now. I think that might be a Vicky Love Heart jumping up there. Hello, my dear friend. Anyway, so what I wanted to share with you today is what I call it my post-it note. And it is Vic. Hey, sweetheart. I wanted to share with you my post-it note kind of method on getting stuff done. So I very much used to be a list maker, a to-do list maker. And of course, those lists just keep going. Let me know down below, are you guilty of having to-do lists? And especially if they just keep going on and on and on and on. And a lot of the time what I find is the to-do lists seem to, really overwhelm you. You're sitting there and you're looking at it and going, holy smokes, Batman, how am I going to get all of this stuff done? And I thought there's got to be a better way so overwhelm doesn't kick in. And Vicky said, yep. When overwhelm kicks in, what starts to happen is we start to procrastinate. Yeah, and when we're procrastinating, we don't get anything done. So what I was doing as I was getting ready to jump on here live with you guys, I was trying to find a list of mine. And I used to have notepads and all of that where I used to write everything down. And I found this one, which is from 2015. And the thing that I love, as I opened it, things are going to fall out. The first thing you'll see are post-it notes. Okay, so I'll just pop all this down. But this is just jam-packed, full of to-do lists, notes, and things like this. Okay, so as I said very quickly, I realized that in theory to-do lists are great, but they can certainly become quite overwhelming. So what I came up with is a way to kind of fast track this. So instead of sitting there having ridiculous long lists where nothing ever gets done, and then you lose a list, you have to create another list, is short, simple. And also one of the things that I've done with it is a way where you can sit there and actually acknowledge the work that you've got done, the things that you've achieved. We are all too stingy with ourselves in the sense of acknowledging, how hard we've worked or what we've done. So, you might sit there and cross something off a traditional list or even like a tick list if you're doing it online. I'm very much of a visual person, a very color-orientated person, in case you couldn't tell. But, a tick list or, crossing something off, soon enough will end up in the recycle bin and you're just writing another list. So what I have started to do, and I'll show you here with my list, and I mean, here is literally 2 post-it notes that I've got going at the moment. What I do is I write my to-do lists on post-it notes. And generally speaking, I can only fit about 3 to 4 things on my list, okay? Now, there's a couple of rules with this. You have to write it big enough so your grandma can read it, okay? So you can't cheat and put like, tiny little writing in there. It has to be big enough so your grandma can read it. And then what I find is it's so much easier to do if you're doing 3 or 4 tasks. And yes, I will have a couple of post-it notes, no more than 3, because generally speaking, I might have very fast-tracked things that I can get done maybe in an hour or in the morning. Others may take a couple of days to actually finish and things like that, and especially if you're waiting on somebody else that's contributing to your task or whatever it is. That's awesome, Vic. I can see that you started doing it, Kat, and it's awesome. Thank you. I think it is. It's certainly changed my life. So just as an example, I think my camera's on reverse here, but that's okay. I've got Finish Asana, so that's just an online program that I need to finish with my VA. Run my Facebook Live. Guess what? That is done. What's happening right now? Edit some of my YouTube videos and follow up on a webinar training that I hosted last week. So that's That's on the front. And if I flip that under, well, I'll just move that off to the side. I've got my visual branding and total alignment training. So I'm running some trainings in regards to visual branding and, you know, making sure that you're living in alignment. Now, the one that is on top is the one that I'm focusing on to start off with, and the blue one underneath is just something there that, you know, that's going to take a little bit of time for me to organize, but it's certainly on that list. And there is no way that the front of my book will be covered with any more than 3, maybe 4 post-it notes on that. So nice and simple. Let's recap. Post-it notes, because they're a great universal size. They should really sponsor me because, you know, I do talk about them a lot. Writing that is big enough so your grandma can read it, okay? So you can't cheat and put, I can see you guys laughing at that one. You can't cheat and put tiny itty bitty bits of writing in there. The other thing that I find is really important, if by chance there's a task on your post-it note, let's say you've done all 3 and there's a 4th one sitting on there, what you can do is you can get that 4th one and move it to the next one. Okay, if our eye starts to see mess and clutter and things along those lines, that can very easily lead to overwhelm for a lot of people. So it's nice and easy. From there, the first thing that I do is actually want to be able to celebrate, if you would, celebrate the things that I've done. So you can see in here, I will actually put my post-it notes through my book as I get them done. I've got some cards here of some gorgeous clients sending me thank yous. But as I sit there and get things done, I will start to post my post-it notes in there. This is a fairly new book, as you can tell, but, you know, in a couple of months or year, whatever, this will be absolutely jam-packed. And it's not necessarily that I'm going to sit there and go, oh, look at every single post-it note that I did and everything that I've achieved. But it's certainly a great feeling every time you're able to turn that page over and, you know, get another post-it note in there. And I'm kind of, I know, you know, for anyone else that's a bit of a small stationary geek, it's always nice sitting there and having pretty colors. So, like, I've got my pink, I've got my blue, I've got orange. So these are all my post-it notes that I'll sit there and I'll, as I said, I'm a visual person. And let's face it, if it looks better, it's going to be more inviting to do. Hi, Claire. Thanks for joining in, Claire, all the way from the UK. Woohoo! Hey, Shelley. Thank you. So in a nutshell, that is pretty much how I start to organize my tasks throughout the day. There's no need to have big long lists. If you have big long lists, sometimes what we do in applied behavior is it's a term called backwards chaining, basically. But if you've got a really long list of things that you need to get done, can you break that down into post-it notes? And again, if you can only get 3 to 4 things on each post-it note, that's going to limit you down, you know, when it comes to priorities. So maybe sitting there and doing the smaller time tasks would be easier, you know, and then slowly breaking them down into tasks that you're going to be able to achieve in an effective way. Hell of a lot more visually appealing than a big, long, messy, scribbled out, screwed up, messy list that never ever gets done. But certainly sitting there and picking those lists and getting them done. Highly recommend getting yourself a little book. I have seen it done. I've seen one lady do it on a whiteboard, and she has all of her to-do lists on a whiteboard on one side, and then once she's on post-it notes, and once she's done the post-it notes, she peels it off and puts it on a whiteboard on that side. That's a lot of wall space in my house, and wall space is very limited because I have a lot of artwork and photographs that are up on my walls. And for me, this is nice, short, sweet. I can pop it in my travel bag if I'm traveling or whatnot. Makes it nice and sweet. Shelley says, pick 3 things. Absolutely. Makes you feel accomplished, whatever they are. And this is the key, right? Once you understand how your subconscious mind works, right, we want to make sure that we're always feeding with supportive and encouragement messages. The subconscious mind is always listening, you know, and it's always paying attention. So if you're sitting there and you're looking at this ridiculously long list that is, you know, messy because you've been scrubbing things out or rewriting or ticking things off, and it's just massive amounts of overwhelm, your subconscious mind will naturally sit there and throw up all the emotions of any time you found something too hard, too difficult, or overwhelming, okay? If we can break it down into small successive tasks, straight away it makes it a hell of a lot easier, and your subconscious mind goes, holy smokes, I've been able to do this, and you naturally feel better. just really quickly, on your subconscious mind, that's where all of your emotions are stored. Okay, so if you're presented with something consciously, if you can see something, your list that is super duper long, right? The way you feel about it stems from your subconscious mind. And we want to make sure that we're starting to let our subconscious mind understand and know that no matter what's on those lists, you get them done, you have success. Otherwise, again, that overwhelm, and, if you're prone to anxiety or anything along those lines, that can certainly kick in. And procrastination, Who here has been guilty of procrastinating? I can certainly identify my habits, my old habit, and I say old because I've certainly broken it. My old habit of procrastinating used to be a bit of housework, and my house would be absolutely spotless anytime I was procrastinating. It was always a good thing, but I certainly didn't get anything done. And when you're in business, that's not ideal. So, guys, yes, you failed before you start. Absolutely. That's if you're not even, if you're not setting yourself up for success. So always set yourself up for success, guys. I would love to know how you guys, if you guys are going to implement this, give me a love heart or a thumbs up. Let me know if you're going to give this a try and, really start to smash out your goals. By all means, please keep posting in the groups. Pay attention to the hashtags that are listed in the banner above in this group. And by all means, if you have any tips or anything to share along these lines, by all means, just whack it in the group. We're all here to support each other and live an awakened life. That's what it's all about. The more we can become conscious and awake, the better life's going to become. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me live. Love to you guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.